so the playground mode is back, and I just want to share with you some of the top few things that I feel like, especially if you are new to the game, that you should start training on. Especially since the playground mode is around, and you can get materials really fast, like super fast. So the few things that I recommend you training is, first is to build your own cover. Now the basic covers are a wall and then you get a little bit of elevation by building a ramp, and then you can start attacking or firing on enemies with this basic cover. Now another basic cover is actually a 1x1. So you want to cover your entire body with walls, 4 walls like this, and you want to get yourself elevated so that you have the high ground. So one of the faster way of building is to just build 4 walls. Now this is optional, but put a floor, put a ramp, build another 4 walls, put a floor, put a ramp, and there you go. You are higher than most of your enemies now. The other way of going up and building your 1x1 is just do the exact same thing but without the floor. So you can actually save a little bit of materials, but your structure will be a little bit weaker at certain angles of being attacked. So instead of putting a floor down, you just continue on with a ramp upwards. Then you build the walls, build a ramp up, build the walls, build the ramp up, and that is another way you can get up really high and really fast. You also manage to save a little bit because you are not building the floor. Now another good point about doing this is that if you have to go down, it's a lot easier through your building because you don't have that added floor. Then after you manage to do your 1x1 really fast, and I mean you have to be somewhat fast enough. So for example, let me just get down real quick. Let me show you my speed. I'm not the fastest builder, by the way, but I'm still learning myself. Okay, so you build the 1x1. Okay, build this, build this, build that, build this, build that, build this, build that. Whoop, I missed one wall. Like that. Okay, so you want to practice building really fast. The next thing that you want to do after you're really good at building up is you want to get down really fast as well. The moment you hear enemies trying to destroy your 1x1 from the bottom, you need to get down as fast as possible so that you do not get fall damage. So you have to learn how to edit. So you edit by clicking G in my case, and then you put the ramp or create a ramp at the other side where you are not standing, like that. Okay, and then you do that again, do that again, do that again, do that again, and finally you're actually already at ground level. Then you can come out from your 1x1, and that is one way to train. So you build up really fast and then you try to edit your way down really fast. Once you are really good at both of that, the next thing that you need to train is to go back up. Now I know this sounds really hard or unnecessary, but there are times where you have to go up. Let's say you are in a 1x1, the sides are maybe not your building or stuff, you want to go back up. So what you want to do is, there's a few ways of doing this. One is to undo the default. So you jump over to where the ramp is lowest at. Jump over. Oh crap. Let me do that again. You jump over and then you undo the default. As in you undo it so that it becomes the default, which is quite easy. Like that. The other way is actually to play with the ramp position. So let's say right now you're down here, you want to go down. Instead of opening it up like that, which I told you guys to do before, there is another way. The other way is to change the structure. So right now it's going up this way, you change it to go up this way. So you're at the lowest point, change it like this, So now it's facing this direction and you're underneath it. So this underneath ramp thing is also a very good trick. For example, if there's someone above you and shooting down at you, so you put a, let's say you put a floor on your head, and then you even put a roof on your head. But right now you only have 2 layers of protection. If you want an added layer, maybe you want to drink a mini potion, you can actually use the ramp, make it face you, and now you have a ramp, a floor, and a roof between you and your enemy, which is on top. Okay, so you can go down like this, come down here, go down like this, and keep going down like that. And if you want to go back up, you just go to the highest part and then turn the ramp back like that. Go to the highest part, turn the ramp back like this. So these are some of the things that you can play with and get good at. If you're really good, you can outplay your enemies really easily. Okay, now I want to talk to you about getting the high ground, levitating yourself, making yourself high enough to meet the enemy. So let's say this over here is a hill and you're trying to go all the way up, but you want to go straight up. You don't want to go from the side, you don't want to go like ramp up and stuff like that. So there's a few ways. This is Syherpk's build, which I also train. So he will make a wall, put a floor, and then put a ramp, a wall, floor, ramp, wall, floor, ramp, wall, floor, ramp, wall, floor, ramp. Now this is pretty good and quite fast as well if you can do it fast, because your character did not need to move that much. You just basically jump and jump and jump and you come all the way top. The good thing is that if you know that there's only one enemy in front of you, this is actually probably faster. Depends on the individual. So I'm gonna actually share with you a different method. Now the problem with this method is that as you're going up, your sides are exposed. People from the sides can shoot you, people from your back can shoot you. The only thing that you have cover is in front, and also let's see, and also in order to bring their entire structure down, they will need to break, let me just get a little bit of a height here. They'll need to break at least this one and this one for the entire thing to come down. So 2 ramps, if they can manage to break these 2 ramps, everything will fall. If they manage to break the floor and let's say this one, it won't fall. If they break the floor and this one, actually if they break the floor and this one, it will also fall. So yeah, so the structure is not very stable, not like a 1x1. It's also not very safe. So now I'm going to show you a slightly different method, and this is something that I personally use, is that you do a 2 walls, 1 ramp, 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 2 walls, 1 ramp. Now you have to make sure that you move towards the edge of the higher part of the ramp before you cast the other ramp, so that you are on top of that ramp. So now this way of going up basically gives you more coverage, because the front part is blocked and one side, it can be on your left, it could be on your right, is also blocked. So depending on where the enemies most likely will be, you can block there. So you are being exposed by one of the sides and also your back. So you get a little bit more, how do I say, protection from this way. And for them to bring down this structure, they also need to break this wall and this wall. So by breaking these 2 walls, the entire structure will fall. Okay, so It's really up to you which one you prefer. This one is actually maybe faster if you have really fast hands because the character did not move much. Just look at the character. He basically just jumps, and that's and then you get the height, right? This one, your character actually needs to move, so the character will look like this. Oh, the tree. So yeah, the character does need to move from side to side in order to go up. But this one is easier to pull off. The reason why is because you are only using 2 buttons. You're using walls and ramps, walls and ramps, walls and ramps. Well, this one you're using walls, ramp and floor, wall, ramp and floor. So it's a little bit harder, but both ways can get you high really fast. And I recommend trying it out and see which one suits you and also the condition. But for my own use, I always use this one because it's just a little bit safer. It's also faster if you want to box yourself up because 2 sides is already blocked. If you realize that you're still getting hit, you just block the other 2 sides. Whereas this one, when you get hit, first of all, you don't really know where it came from. You just know that it's not from the front. Now let's talk about ramp rushing someone. So you know how to make your basic 1x1. You know how to get really high elevation really fast. But when you ramp rush someone, you're moving forward as well. So the easiest way, let's say someone's inside that 1x1, the easiest way is really just to build towards the guy to get the height enough for you to see him and shoot him, right? But if you just go up with a ramp, go up with ramps, it's very easy to get you knocked down because they can shoot the ramp. Anyone the ramp were to break, you will fall. So what pros do is that they will put a wall right in front of it. Okay, and this way it's going to be harder for the enemies to shoot you down. So for example, if the enemy is over here, from this angle it's hard to shoot that part. So you don't want to go too high because if you go too high, he'll see the bottom part of the ramp. But if you're low enough, you can see that he actually has no angle to hit the ramps. He only can hit the walls. So technically he has to go through two parts, the wall and also the ramp, in order to bring you down. So it's a little bit tougher, it's a little bit safer. So you do have to practice this. So how you practice this is basically you build up, put a wall, 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 build up, put a wall. And that is what you do. You can always start off by walking up, and then as you progress, you try sprinting and do it, and then eventually you're gonna get it. Now this is pretty good and it's quite cheap as well. The drawback is that if the enemy somehow has an angle of the ramp side and not the wall, they can still shoot that ramp and the whole thing is gonna fall. So what some even pro people do is that they will build like this. They'll build a ramp, they'll put a floor, put a wall, build a ramp, floor, wall, ramp, oh boy, ramp, floor, wall, ramp, floor, wall, ramp, floor, wall. And I'm actually still practicing with this, but what's so good about this is that with that extra floor, if people were to shoot or break this part of the ramp, it will still hold itself because of the floor, right? And if people were to break the floor, it will hold itself because of the ramp. If people were to hit the wall, it will still hold itself because of the ramp. So they have to go through 2 parts of your materials at least in order to bring you down. Whereas the old traditional one, this one, if they're lucky, they can bring you down really fast with 1 ramp. So both of them is really good. But to me, the one that I use the most is actually something I call the double ramp rush. So what you have to do is put 2 ramps instead of 1, and then you go up like this. and then you shoot them from the top. The reason why I choose to do this is because if you were to do this method where you put a wall in front, you are using two planks, 20 materials per level. Over here, you're also using 20 materials per level, and guess what? From here, they have to shoot 2 down in order for the whole thing to come down. This one, the traditional one, the old one, this one, if they're lucky and they have the angle, they only need to shoot 1 plank down, 1 ramp down for the entire thing to go down. So this one is actually safer, and it's also faster in my opinion, because you're only spamming your ramp. So this is the one that I use most of the time. I built 2 instead, and if you want it to be even safer, you can do the exact same thing with this method to build walls in front, and this one takes a little bit more practice. So basically it goes like this, build walls. Oops. So if you are behind your ramp, you end up building a wall right in front. So you have to be careful with that. So you have to make sure that, right? So now this way it's even safer. So it's basically that method, but you also have 2 ramps. So it's a lot harder for enemies to break your structure down. However, it does use up a lot of materials. So don't even bother trying to go for this method of building with the double ramp, because it's gonna burn through your materials so fast that in my opinion it's not worth it. So yeah, so practice the single one, the single ramp. You can also practice this one, which is actually pretty good as well. So you spend an extra material and you force them to break at least 2 ramps, or you can just build 2, because sometimes you just don't have the space to build 2 ramps. But yeah, or you can just build 2 ramps, and I find that is actually pretty good. Now the next thing that I want to talk about, or thing that you can train, is basically to get used to boxing yourself up really fast, and also escaping from that box and get to higher level. So this is very, very often used from my experience. So you go up, you find yourself in a bad situation, so you need to be able to box yourself really fast. Build a roof, build a floor, build 4 walls, box yourself up really fast. So the enemy might be above you, so what you need to do is you need to open up real quick, edit, open up, and build like this. So you have a sort of roof that's made of ramps, and then you have the ramp that you walk on. And then immediately when you reach here, don't build the last roof. Go all the way to the top, turn around, and you'll see this, right? So you go all the way to the top, build a wall right in front of you, and turn like that. Then you jump. Even if you don't jump, it's okay. Just build a ramp on here, and you'll realize that you have a quite good elevation right now. Okay, and you're higher up. So again, you're building up scenario. You're building up, and then the enemy is higher than you. What you do, you build a 1 by 1 real quick. Blup, 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 blup. Okay, go for the sides. I recommend going for the sides. Build this. Okay, the further you go, the higher you get, because you're building ramps up. But then the further you go, the more risk you have of enemies shooting down your ramp. They can still bring you down by shooting this wall and this one if they are exactly above you. Or if they are at the side, they can just straight away hit this ramp and you'll fall as well. So don't build too high. My suggestion is maybe 2 to 3 ramps of ground, and then immediately build this wall, 3 walls at least. 3, yeah, I would recommend 3 walls. Build the side where the enemy is, or whichever that you feel like comfortable. Jump, build a ramp, and then now you're above the enemy. Okay, now let me show you how to do this fast. Now let's say the enemy structure is right over here. So you're building up and you see this. Oh no, what do you do? Okay, so don't panic. Build a wall on top. Build the one by one like that. Open up from the side again. And then start doing that thing. Okay, so I'm gonna show you the fast one. That's the fast one. Okay, so let me show you again. Oh boy, what just happened? Okay, so again, build a wall around, open up. Okay, turn around, jump, and now you're even higher. So right now we are actually really high up. So what I would recommend is to practice this. Go up, build a one by one, edit, open up, turn, jump, go up, build a one by one, edit, build up, go up, build a one by one. You get the drill. Okay, edit, build up, and just keep practicing like this. And this is how you can take over the high ground and also make sure that you're safe. The next thing that you can also practice is to change direction. You're going up this direction and suddenly you want to go that direction. You put a wall down and then put your ramp there, and then you change direction. So you put a wall down, put your ramp up, and then you change direction. Wall down, ramp up, and then you change direction. Right? Wall down, ramp up, change direction. So this is also pretty useful. Okay, so that is pretty much what I would recommend practicing with the new playground mode. Get those things really good, get those muscle memories really used to, and then you should be able to start winning games. At least outplay people with building. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. I will see you guys next time in the next video, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye bye.